real loud there. We're going to too loud just to go over, come over top of it. When do we start? Now? Every time I try to make it on my own, every time I try to stand and start to fall, all those lonely roads that I had traveled on, there was Jesus. When the life I built came crashing to the ground, when the friends I had were nowhere to be found, I couldn't see it then, but I can see it now. There was Jesus. In the waiting, in the searching, in the healing and the hurting, like a blessing buried in the broken pieces. Every minute, every moment, where I've been and where I'm going, even when I didn't know it or couldn't see it, there was Jesus. For this man who needs amazing kind of grace, for forgiveness at a price I couldn't pay. I'm not perfect, so I thank God for every day. There was Jesus.
There was Jesus.
In the waiting, in the searching, in the healing and the hurting, like a blessing buried in the broken pieces. Every minute, every moment, where I've been and where I'm going, even when I didn't know it or couldn't see it. There was Jesus on the mountain, in the valleys. There was Jesus in the shadows of the alleys. There was Jesus in the fire, in the flood. There was Jesus, always is, and always was. In the waiting, in the searching, in the healing and the hurting, like a blessing buried in the broken pieces. Every minute, every moment, where I've been and where I'm going, even when I didn't know it or couldn't see it, there was Jesus.
There was Jesus.
Welcome, everybody, to Wading River Congregational Church, whether you're here with us in person or joining us on the live stream. We are glad that you are with us. We do have some announcements this morning. Thankful to Carolyn and Joe Bear, who are our greeters and who also donated the altar flowers this morning in memory of Buzz Runlett. A lot of you may remember Buzz. He was a longtime member of this church, so good memories to have. He did a lot of faithful teaching when he was here, both for adults and for young ones. If you are a visitor, we extend a warm welcome to visitors and newcomers. To show our appreciation, there is a small gift that you can find back behind the sanctuary here and the table in the parlor. Please join us today. We're having a very special coffee hour today. It's actually not a coffee hour, although there's coffee. It is a celebration luncheon. We're celebrating on behalf of Jake Evans. So there's lots of food, plenty for people who come frequently and for people who are new today. We invite you, if you're so inclined, to fill out a nice to meet you form. That'll give us a little bit of information about you. You can let us know on it if you'd like for us to contact you, so you can find out more information about the church and we can find out more information about you. Speaking of that, if you are interested in church membership, and I know some of you have expressed that you are, next Sunday, right after coffee hour, or with your coffee in hand, we are going to have an informational meeting. Even if you haven't let us know you want to join that, it's not too late to do so. Let John know. And it's really just for you to ask us any questions about the church, for us to talk a little bit about the church and what we believe. You'll have the opportunity to meet some of the deacons and spend some time with John. So it's not too late to jump into that meeting if you'd like. That meeting is also not a commitment. It's really for you really to have enough information to know whether or not you would like to join the church. There are always ways to support this church, first and foremost with your prayers, with your gifts, whether that be gifts of muscle or gifts of creativity or gifts of willingness to jump in. You can also support the church financially. If you're so inclined, you can do that online. You can leave a check in the box outside the office, or of course we do a weekly offering. So we thank you for that money. It allows us to provide the ministries that we provide and really support the community in the way we support it, which leads me there. And by the way, there are a lot of announcements in your bulletin, so I do encourage you to look at those, but a couple in particular. So confirmation class, that's a class for young people who are looking to learn what it means to be a church member. That will begin next Sunday after church with Nancy Bossicker. And we are 2 weeks out from our spring women's retreat, or what we like to call a faith lift. Although if you're not from this church, that confuses people because they think we're running a spa. It is not a spa. It is, however, a wonderful opportunity. This year we're doing it up at Camp DeWolf, which is a beautiful location, Saturday, May 11th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There are these flyers sitting around the church. If you are so inclined, you can actually register for the Faith Lift with the use of this little QR code. So if you're not so inclined, you can also write your name on the list, which is back there. So I just want to talk a little bit about the Faith Lift. It is something that's being developed by the Faith Lift planning team. Surprise, surprise. And the name of this year's retreat is Women Walking with God Together. So I just have to say that there is something special, women walking together. For those of you who have a group of women, whether it be a Bible study or an exercise group, or whether it be a group that you know from the thrift store or working in the kitchen or anywhere, you know that there is a special way women support each other and love each other and comfort each other. So it was really important to us to know, to have people know that that is a focus of this year's Faith Lift. We have this lovely young woman, Pastor Abigail, who is going to lead this, and just because her last name is the same as my last name. But a little bit of information about Abigail. She grew up in this church. She graduated from Shore and Wading River High School, and she knows what it's like to grow up and have her faith formed in a community where there are many other things that could form your faith, right? And in spite of that, she chose, much to the surprise of her mother, to go into religious studies and then go to seminary and become an ordained pastor. I will also say we did not plan for this to happen on Mother's Day weekend, but it is on Mother's Day weekend. And it is not just for middle-aged women. Abigail has really the ability, I think, to reach across generations. So I would encourage you, if you are a mother, bring your daughter. If you are a daughter, bring your mother. If you need childcare, let me know. We can figure that out as well. But it's going to be a wonderful day with, of course, lots of good food because we like to eat. and even better desserts, because that is, of course, the most important part of the meal. So again, we would just ask for you to sign up. If you haven't yet paid, you can do that, either by writing a check or seeing me after service. So we would encourage you to give that consideration. There's no doubt in my mind that it will be a wonderful time together. Senior luncheon, the next senior luncheon is on May 9th. Please let Lana O'Toole know by May 5th, which is next Sunday, if you'd like to join. So we've run a Grief Share program here for a long, long time. There is a new Grief Share session that has started. This would be for folks who have not been part of Grief Share. That is at Tuesdays at 5 p.m. And it is for folks who have lost a loved one. If you have more questions about that, you can see Nancy Bossaker when she's not running our technology. She is the one who runs our Grief Share program. And one other thing, for those of you who have nothing to do tonight, or if you have something to do and want to cancel it and come here instead, Taylor Burgess, who was our music director for a while and is back in the area because she's doing some work at the Metropolitan Opera, is holding a recital here in Fellowship Hall tonight at 7:30. So all are welcome for that. And I can't think of anything else to announce, but I would encourage you to look in your bulletin because I think there are other announcements in there. Oh, wait, one more thing. The annual congregational meeting will take place on May 19th following our morning service. If you're not a member and you want to come and see how that works, you can do that. However, if you want to vote on anything we're voting on, you need to be a member. But please put that in your calendars. So now, please quiet your hearts and minds as we prepare to enter into worship. Our call to worship this morning is going to be read by Kaylee.
Good morning. Today's call to worship is from Psalm 145, 1-3. I will exalt you, my God, the King. I will praise your name forever and ever. Every day I will praise you and exalt your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and mostly worthy of praise. His greatness no one can fathom.
Please stand as you are able and join us in singing our opening song, Here I Am to Worship.
Light of the world, you step down into darkness. Open my eyes, let me see beauty that made this heart adore you. All
Thank you. Please be seated. Today's scripture reading is from 2 Samuel, chapter 12, verses 15 to 25, which is on page 488 in your pew Bibles, for those of you who like to follow along in the Bible. After Nathan had gone home, the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife had borne to David, and he became ill. David pleaded with God for the child. He fasted and spent the nights lying in sackcloth on the ground. The elders of the household stood beside him to get him up from the ground, but he refused, and he would not eat any food with them. On the seventh day, the child died. David's attendants were afraid to tell him that the child was dead, for they thought, while the child was still living, he wouldn't listen to us when we spoke to him. How can we now tell him the child is dead? He may do something desperate. David noticed that his attendants were whispering among themselves, and he realized the child was dead. Is the child dead? He asked. Yes, they replied, he is dead. Then David got up from the ground. After he had washed, put on lotions, and changed his clothes, he went into the house of the Lord and worshipped. Then he went to his own house, and at his request, they served him food, and he ate. His attendants asked him, "Why are you acting this way? While the child was alive, you fasted and wept, but now that the child is dead, you get up and eat." He answered, "While the child was still alive, I fasted and wept. I thought, who knows, the Lord may be gracious to me and let the child live. But now that he is dead, why should I go on fasting? Can I bring him back again? I will go to him, but he will not return to me." Then David comforted his wife, Bathsheba, and he went to her and knew her. She gave birth to a son, and they named him Solomon. The Lord loved him, and because the Lord loved him, he sent word through Nathan the prophet to name him Jedediah. Please stand as you are able and join us in singing our next hymn, number 506, I'd Rather Have Jesus.
I
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, Sunday school is going to be dismissed. So if you're here today and you want to go to Sunday school, please do so. And at this time, two things are going to happen. We're going to take up the offering just briefly. Is that my mic? Oh, okay.